believers in the dragon.
Yo, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Morning Market Report. I am R&B Piper. This is the Piper Academy Network, and these are a lot of green bubbles, guys. Bitcoin tearing off yesterday after a pullback. Jerome Powell, comes out, says, yeah, I'm not cutting rates. You can't make me, not doing it. And then we get Trump starts talking about trade stuff, and what do? We pump, we rally. Guys, we got a big movement here on Bitcoin, moving to the upside. I'm watching closely our golden pocket here. This has been our cycle tops range every single cycle, and I need to see it get back above that. I'm going to show you exactly what I need to see in order to flip fully bullish, still cautiously optimistic until that happens. Guys, we're going to break that down. We're going to break down what Jerome Powell said yesterday, and could be some turmoil on the horizon, a little bit of resistance coming down the pipeline on the macro side. We're going to be looking at that also, and a whole lot more right here today on the Morning Market Report. You guys know what time it is. Take your seats, class is in session. Let's go. Good morning, everyone. Welcome here. Wix Wi-Fi 89 2 in the house. Alexander G, the mod queen. XYZOZYX in here with us. Jesse Lucky, Uncle Jesse. Crypto Coin Mindset. Keith in the house with us. Harp. Zen Regen. Buck is in here with us. Good morning, Buck. How you doing, man? Who else we got in here? CJ Taylor. My bro is in the house. Username is in here with us. We got G Steph 44. I'm pretty sure I got that right. Yep, I think so. Who else? Trade Intuition, Bango, bro. Ninja Glock in here with us. Pigeon Town Smooth. Good morning, all. Good morning to you, Roman Brave. And if I missed anybody, Average Crypto Joe, can't forget you. If I missed anybody else, man, shout out to everybody that's joining us this morning. But let's go ahead and bring up my co-host, the OC guy. Let's get him up here with me, and let's start. Let's just talk about this crazy price action pump we got, man. OC. What do you think? That price has pretty much cleaned out the liquidity. There's a little bit left. We're going to show that in a minute, but how are you feeling about the markets right now? You're muted. You're muted. You're still muted.
Oh, it
Always
had to
muted.
be, right? Well, look at my mug, man. Today I went for the biggest, largest ever mug I ever had. And today I'm getting ready to maybe short the market. I'm feeling a little bit bearish in the market. I mean, of course, I'm bullish overall, but I feel like we're topping out. In fact, if we take a look at the areas of EOS that I was talking about yesterday, the areas of Bitcoin that I was talking about yesterday, we're hitting those areas, and we're getting some bearish divergence, at least on the 4 hours and also on the 15 minutes. So in the 15 minutes, we can easily have a two swing, right? Up and down before we really burst to the downside. But in the 4 hours, we only have one chance at this point, or one go. So I'm going to go for it. Today, I feel bearish for the day. But other than that, I'm pretty excited to have that pump. At the end of it all, I mean, my bags of crypto, they're pretty happy.
My DCA bag is pleased right now. I'm going to go ahead and jump over. We're going to talk about Bitcoin first before we get into the news, guys. But I am seeing a couple of things here on the 4 hour and the daily. I want to talk about this. Looking at Bitcoin right now, this is that range that I had been telling you guys about. It's talking about this golden pocket. We got a rejection. Check out the retest. Look, it's not about the breakout. It's about the retest, and then we got a breakout, but we did not get a new retest here. I do think we are going to return back down to the 0.66 here. This is a GAN level, not a fib level, but I use that for my golden pocket. And yesterday, someone asked me, why do I use the 0.66 instead of the 0.65? I'm going to explain it to you. Because almost everyone knows about the 0.65 on golden pockets. They do it by that, and if you go in here, take a look here. I'm going to put this on the 0.65 just to show you. Let's go in here, put that on 0.65. There we go. You see this level here, how it's way down this level? Watch what happens. So here's the psychology behind me using the GAN level 0.66. Because everyone knows that the level above the 0.65 is the place to put your stop loss. So if this was coming up, you would put your stop loss above it, right, for a short. So they know that. If I go in and I put this on, look closely at the levels now, guys. Watch the levels. If I put this on a 0.66, look where the price actually moved to. The market makers moved it right there and right there, just past that 0.65. So that is why I use a 0.66. It's that's where stop losses are at. So market movers, market makers, they're going to move it right there. So now you know why. But anyway, we got to break above that 0.66. I do think we're going to come back and retest this level one time. That would be a good spot if things are looking good on the oscillator to set up for an entry for a long. However, what I want to point out is check out the daily, guys. Shout out to Chart Prime. Look at this quantum reactor on the daily and what it has done going all the way back here since the 23rd of April. So about 2 weeks now, almost. I guess, yeah, about 2 weeks. We have been holding this quantum reactor. It's been green and it's been key support all the way through here. So shout out to this algorithmic moving average genius code that's in here in Chart Prime, but absolutely just crushing it. So what I'm watching here on the daily, we are going into a light peach color here. That is a transition ribbon for another move to the upside. I will point out that we had a downtrend. It kind of washed out. Remember me telling you how price can go sideways when you get these indications of downtrend. And as long as this stuff continues to drop and we hold price level, then you'll be okay. Now, what this is going to do is create the potential for a bearish divergence. So keep that in mind. But we have moved price upwards or at least sideways in this range right here while everything cooled off. Now it's coming back up. Money flow is looking good. Volume is dropping a little bit. We're losing a little bit of volume here, but this VWAP overbought, fired, and then we went up. I think we're going to get a divergence that does bring us down, but as of right now, we're looking okay on the charts on the daily. We're about to flip into another bullish signal here on the MACD. We just printed a green histogram candle, meaning maybe another little upside move before we come down. I'm watching a key level, and that key level is going to be the $100,000, obviously, which we're almost at 99,440 right now. But I'm watching this level at 103,552, and I'm going to talk about what we need to do with this whole section here, this whole area, in order for me to go, you know what, Piper Bear, time for you to hibernate and let's get into some more bullish action here. I will show you all of that in a little while, but OC, I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to you. Show me what you're seeing on Bitcoin, what you're watching there. And then we'll get into the news and we'll break all that down, talk about the macro economic stuff that's coming next week. And right now, just so you guys are tracking, right now, President Trump is actually talking about a trade deal with the UK. So we need to talk about that too and see what's coming out on that. OC, let's kick it over to you and let's see what you have right now on your chart, bro.
Absolutely. So this is my chart from trading with OC yesterday at night. This is the broader in which we were looking at Bitcoin. Let me zoom out because this is the 30 minutes, right? So let's just take a look at the structure here, and we can see that we have a broadening wedge. And yesterday I was aiming, you know what, we are not yet on that reversal. In fact, even if we are on reversal, we could be having that slightly more movement to the upside. And then when we have this movement to the upside, we could be having a lesser move or a downtrend on our oscillator. So, and I actually went ahead and show you this section here, if I don't recall incorrectly, where we have the further move to the upside, and then we have a lesser move or downwards movement into the downside with the oscillator. That creates a bearish divergence, right? So at this point, I'm looking for the next area to be hold somewhere around 96,600, and then somewhere around 93,900. I really want for this to play it out for the next one to be bursting. I mean, at least I want this target to be hit. Why? Because if I go here, I might be losing it and then creating kind of like a fake out, but also I could be creating a better or a more stiffer trend line that could maybe guide me into the future to where I could be having those bounces. But remember, micro markets, fundamentals might be changing the way that technicals read, right? Because fundamentals are above technicals. And if Trump is giving some bullish signals today, I mean, markets might be pumping. And if markets are pumping, we know Bitcoin will be pumping too. So let me just go over 4 hours really quick and then I pass it over to you. This is the 4 hour chart that we were talking about. We are on big resistance areas in here, right? We also have some order blocks. Where are those order blocks? Come on, there we go. At the bottom, and that's what I'm looking for, to have a big area of support. Not only that, if we are a little bit patient here, there we go. We have dynamic reactor coming in strong, and I believe that that will be an amazing area to jump back in. On the 4 hours, we have again the bearish divergence. We had what I was expecting to be a goose head, and it's transforming into something like that. So maybe we can have that chance to retrace and then have the next leg upwards in this upcoming week. So that's what I'm expecting. Plan A and Plan B. That's what I got, Piper.
Awesome. Yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the news. I'm not seeing anything coming out about Trump yet. Just keep in mind, it is just the UK. Someone asked earlier, do we get any many goods from UK? And we do. We actually get quite a bit of pharmaceutical stuff from them. If you guys don't know, the UK is one of the biggest producers of morphine. So there is that. Yeah. Well, they own a bunch of farms and stuff that farm opium or poppies. I mean, in like India and stuff like that. So over there in that region. So yeah, they do a lot of that. There's some car stuff that they do. But overall, not that big of a deal. As BC Port Corp said, Vietnam, let me know when they start coming to the table. So yeah, that's going to be the big one. That's really going to replace
them. Mexican cartel are making the fight. Yeah, don't worry.
Don't worry. We got it. Don't worry. So yeah, let's go jump into the cartels. We got your back. Don't worry. There's no tariff on cartel goods. So they're just sneaking across the border right here in El Paso. Let me go ahead and jump over into the news. Let's break this all down and we'll get into some more charts. I want to talk about some more alts today, OC. So get them alt charts ready because I've seen some moves. There's some moves going on the alt world. Let's go jump into the news, talk about that. Guys, taking a look right now into the cryptoverse, we're currently at $3.092 trillion trend line on this. The median average for the crypto market cap is sitting at about $3.759 trillion. We're currently only 17.75% undervalued. This thing has been coming down quite a bit. Looking at the Bitcoin risk level, we're at 55.6%, still a 2x DCA level. And then Bitcoin dominance right now with stables is at 64.43, coming down a little bit from yesterday. Without stables, though, at 69.9%. So you can see stables holding pretty good there. When you take the stables out, Bitcoin dominance holding up pretty well, getting very close to that 70% still. Let's go and talk about X. Let's go there. Fear and Greed Index sitting at 65 right now. We are in greed still. I want to talk about this. It's kind of some people were talking about this all over X yesterday. They're like, Arizona approved a strategic Bitcoin reserve. I want to explain something here. Before I go into the rest of the news, OC, I'm going to ask you about this. Arizona enacts a new law to secure unclaimed digital asset and establish a Bitcoin reserve, meaning they're not going to buy any Bitcoin. They're only going to use Bitcoin that is unclaimed in the state of Arizona, and you put that into the reserve. So digital assets are presumed abandoned if the rightful owner fails to respond to communications over a 3-year period. Oh, see, I gotta ask you, man. How do you have unclaimed Bitcoin? How does Bitcoin become in the possession of the state and no one claims it? It just makes no sense to me. I could see if this was like, okay, look, there was this bag of money found, right? We found this bag of cash, doesn't belong to a bank, doesn't belong to any people. We're going to let it sit here for 3 years, and if it gets unclaimed, then we'll put it into the state's money, or a car, right? So you find a car, there's no one to claim it. Whoever had it, whatever, something happened to it. I don't know. But how do you have unclaimed Bitcoin? Can I have some unclaimed Bitcoin? Exactly, JR. I don't understand how you get this. Can you help me make sense of this, OC? Does it make any sense to you?
Oh, absolutely, man. In Mexican laws, we have gone back and forth with this, and the answer is KYC. So, who defines what is
Ooh,
abandoned, right?
that's
So, if your government says abandoned for 3 months, oh, KYC, and who's holding your keys? Not you,
Oh,
right?
see, that's an interesting approach. If it's not KYC, maybe that will be their baseline. If they didn't KYC, it's unclaimed and they can't. I don't know. That's a very good one. Can't claim your Bitcoin if you're in jail or forfeited because of a drug selling. Sure, but at that point, that is seized property and that is in violation of the U.S. Constitution. That's why it has to be unclaimed because once it's claimed, if they know who the owner is, that is seized property. Okay, and under the Constitution, it is called the Takers Act, Takers Law. Anyway, you cannot use um seized property because it's a law that was put into the Constitution to stop the federal government from just finding a reason to take your property for the government's use, right? It has to be sold on auction. So they can't even use that for the reserve. So if it was something like that, seized property can't be used for that. That's why it's garbage. Like I feel like this bill is nothing more than lip service to the crypto people. So yeah, it's crazy. Hey, Mr. Piper mentioned EPT 915. Is that what that is? Frank the Tank? Is that the taker? Oh, El Paso 915. I'm in El Paso, Frank the Tank. I'm not sure what you're saying. I don't know what EPT 915 is. So you have to let me know. All right, let's go finish jumping into the news though. Oh, see, I just had to ask you, what the hell is unclaimed Bitcoin? I don't, but maybe it is a KYC thing. I don't know. Let's go jump back into the news, finish this off, guys. Also in the news today, this is interesting. This is interest. This is Tim Warren over there, TA Tim at Investing Bros. Shout out to them. He said, "Do you believe Jerome Powell is acting completely unbiased and doing what he thinks is best for the American people or actively working against the Trump administration?" And 64.3% of all, I put unbiased. That's, see my check mark? 64.3% of people think that he's working against Trump. Even though, and we're going to go back to here and talk about this again because there's a lot of things that we need to understand here. I talked about this yesterday. I was on with Dylan on over at Banter Plus while Ram was live. I was in the community with that whole team over there, and they said, "Hey, what do you think about Jerome Powell not cutting these rates?" And I said, "Well, he can't really cut the rates right now, and especially after today's job numbers, guys, because today we got the weekly unemployment claims were better than expected. So not as many people claimed unemployment this week as what they thought would, which means we have a labor market that's holding up decently well, right? EPT. Oh, El Paso taxes. Oh, they're horrible here, Frank the Tank. I'll talk about that in a second. So yeah, so yesterday we get this no rate cut, and everyone is just thinks that, well, not everyone, smart people understand that it's not about Trump, it's about employment and inflation. That's it. That's all that the Federal Reserve looks at is the economy, right? They don't care about the politics of it all. They don't care about anything except for how is the economy's health moving? What is the goal here for the economy? What is the long term goal here for the GDP and the economic health and strength and so on and so forth? So working against Trump was the stance on this, and really, they couldn't be further wrong. What at the end of the day, what Jerome Powell is looking at is what are these tariffs going to do to inflation? Because we haven't even seen the effects of this. April 9th was Liberation Day. It takes about 30 to 40 days for a container to get from China to the United States. That would be May 9th at the earliest. That's tomorrow. We have not seen any tariff goods come in. And as of right now, it looks like there's very few ships even coming into the ports. They've been empty all over Portland, Oregon, California. The ports are pretty empty of these ships, which means there's not a lot of goods coming in. If not a lot of goods are coming in, that means that you're going to have less goods on the shelf. If there's less goods on the shelf, but consumption and demand has not gone down, that will cause a supply demand shift, and that means inflation. That is what Jerome Powell is looking at. How are the labor markets? Job numbers, they're decent. They're not collapsing yet. How is inflation? We don't know. I can't cut rates until I know this and that I see this continue to stay strong. And so that's going to be pretty much the overall factors and data that Jerome Powell takes into account. So on certain things, it is faster than that, Buck, but I can absolutely pull up and show you how long it takes for all the different types of goods that come across. And on average, it's about 30 days for large container ships. Can you get stuff quicker through DHL? Yes. Can you get things quicker than 30 days on a freighter if it's a dedicated freight ship going into California? But remember, to the store, it's about 30 to 40 days. So, challenge me. I dare you. I'll show you this stuff in the Discord. Love you, Buck. So right now, this whole thing right here about working against Trump, 64.3%, people are not understanding how this is actually working for Jerome Powell. Your thoughts on this? Do you think that Jerome Powell, OC, is just stancing out and taking stance, ready to fight Trump? Is this just a battle of pecker measuring contest, or what is this, OC?
This is a battle of interest. I mean, for one part, he represents something that has been there for a long time, no matter what party has been in there, right? And for another hand, we have Trump and his plans, right? We still don't know for sure because he hasn't come out and be clear about what their plans is, and I don't think he will ever do, because I think, again, we need a recession, and part of that recession, we need a backup plan. So I don't think ever he's going to be saying, hey, we're going to be, teasing on China so they do worse than us. So when we go to the recession, then we can come back and be stronger, and so on and so forth, right? Because that's going to be unpolitically correct, right? And
Yep.
therefore, the next do your job stuff, right? For example, I mean, let's just get together, you and I, and let's just say that I'm Jerome Powell and you are Donald Trump, right? You're looking at the micro markets and you have a plan for the micro markets, and my job, it just tells you, right, what I don't know, just my job is to keep your wallet afloat, right? All right, you're going to be investing a lot of money because you see your forecast and uprising of the markets. And since my job is to keep your balance or your wallet balance, I'm going to tell you, hey, stop. You cannot do that. This is my job, to keep your wallet stable, right? Yeah, but you're looking at something differently. So should I be making my job? Should I be listening to you, right? I mean, that is the battle. Because if that goes wrong, if your plan goes wrong, I skip on my job. Does that
If
make
I'm
sense?
Trump and you're Jerome Powell, you should never, ever listen to me. And here's why. Because if the president can directly influence the Federal Reserve, faith in the American economic and banking system would go out the window. If the president can extort his will, flex his will on the Federal Reserve, which is supposed to be an independent entity, then it would absolutely mean that the president can control and manipulate the valuation of the dollar in the U.S. economy. And the president should never, ever have that power, in my opinion. Therefore, I don't think that it's anything against Trump. It's just Trump does. This is not your lane. You don't belong in the Federal Reserve. You belong in making executive policy. The Federal Reserve is an independent entity. And as much as I hate the Federal Reserve, they absolutely do not work for the president. So there we go. I just wanted to get that out there. Let's go back and finish the news. But yeah, I appreciate your input on that. Yeah, because sure, toilet paper is made in the U.S. or whatever, but the plastic packaging is made in China. Facts, 2Dub. Trade Fly in the house. I see you, bro. I see you, man. Thanks for joining us. All right. So looking here also, summary basically yesterday, and I'm not going to go through everything on here. I just want to point out a couple of things that Fed Chair Powell said. Unusual swings in trade complicated the GDP measurements. Yes, because we saw a lot of people just stop buying things because they were uncertain at that period. And so we saw negative GDP. Tariffs are so far significantly bigger than expected. That is true too. There is time to wait before adjusting policy. Survey respondents point to tariffs as driving inflation expectations. Yep, because that's what we have to see first in order to know. And the Powell is not thinking about rate cuts. Here is the other thing from the Fed decision, which was Fed appears to see higher risk of stagflation ahead. That is, if we start losing jobs while we're getting inflation coming in higher. And I'll show you what's coming on next week. That is giving indication of inflation going higher. So, that is what I had there. Yep, those things there on X marks the spot. So let's go in, just jump into the crypto bubbles, talk about the current prices. And then we'll go talk about the economic data this week. Bitcoin currently sitting at $99,520, up 2.3% on the daily. Ethereum at $1,980, pushing on $2,000 door. Knock, knock, knock. Up 8.2%. Anything up in that range, Dogecoin's up that much. That's good. Oh, sweet. Holy cannoli.
I'm going to pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers.
12.7%, sitting at $3.80 almost right there, guys. Sweet is just continuing to crush it. Bitcoin Cash, we talked about that one yesterday, up 14.1%, up moved up 4 spots to number 15 from that number 19 spot. And then that's about it. 6.1% for HBAR, looking pretty good there too. So some big movers today on the markets. Let's go see what the TradFi is looking like today. Check out the gold, check out the bonds, check it out, check it out. Dow Jones is up about 0.5%, S&P about 0.5%, NASDAQ up 0.66%, Russell 2K up about 0.7%. The VIX in the red, coming down to that 20 mark, and that is a good thing for market stability. And then let's go look at the bonds. I do believe this is going higher. It is 10-year Treasury bond up 0.04%. It's at 4.316. Remember, this is the baseline for auto loans and home loans and all that good stuff. We're not seeing that come down, and this is really needs to happen because they need to refinance about $9 trillion this year. That needs to come down big time. Let's go look at oil. I do believe it's coming back up. It is. It's up 2.88%, 59.74. And then gold down to 3,362 after touching almost at the $3,500 level yesterday. Silver's up, copper's down, platinum and palladium both moving to the upside also. Investors do see some progress on trade, but they need more progress on that trading in order to sustain a bounce. This is from the CNBC Pro. Stock futures got a boost after President Donald Trump touted a trade agreement with the UK, calling it the first of many. While the exact scope of the agreement isn't clear, the news is a much needed positive for the market. Investors aren't necessarily excited about a UK agreement, and I'm with them on this specifically. But that hope is just the start, and it will be a string of announcements with other countries in the coming days and weeks. So they really want to see that string start to get built so that they can say, okay, look, we got some bullish movement here going on now. I'm feeling a little bit better about what the tariffs are looking like. And so now we can sustain this bounce and maybe find support here. And so, yeah, I just wanted to point that out, that Wall Street's still not, they're still optimistically, cautiously optimistic. That's the word. So Europe, by the way, despite the UK right there getting its thing, European Union is launching a dispute against the U.S. tariffs with the World Trade Organization. They're not happy. They're going to go tell mom. The European Union's executive arm on Thursday said it would launch a dispute with the World Trade Organization over the U.S.'s reciprocal tariff policy. European Commission also said it had launched a public consultation on the list of U.S. imports potentially subject to countermeasures. It is unequivocal view of the EU that these U.S. tariffs blatantly violate fundamental World Trade Organization rules, and that the European Commission, they said that in the statement. The EU's objective is thus to reaffirm that internationally agreed rules matter, and that these cannot be unilaterally disregarded by any WTO member, including the U.S. So they are not happy, and they went and told mom. This is not fair. The U.S. is not playing fair, despite most of the countries not playing fair with us for a long time. So when you're the largest consumer, that means you're the biggest customer for the world of trade. And sometimes you got to listen to your customers. So EU, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. You can eat a healthy meal. How about that? There we go. So let's go jump over here and talk about the economic, and that does not apply to people that live in the EU, just the politicians, just so you know. If you want to take a look at what's going on here next week, guys, this week we had initial jobless claims came in. 228,000 people filed for unemployment this week. It was at 241,000. They thought it was going to be like 230 to 240, came in at 228. That means not as many people filed for unemployment. Matter of fact, if we go to the one-star impact, you'll see that even the continuing jobless claims, they thought it was going to be like 1.89 million, 1.9 million, only came in at 1.7. So even continuing claims, some people got off of unemployment this week. There you go. Next week, here's why I say that we're likely to see some shakeup next week. Looking at Tuesday, core inflation. We got core inflation rate, and then we have the inflation rate, guys. If you look, core inflation rate month over month from 0.1 to 0.2. If you look at core inflation rate year over year, it looks to be static. It's going to be neutral. That's what they're expecting. But look here. Inflation rate year over year from 2.4 to 2.6. That is what is concerning Jerome Powell. That's why I think that next week, if that comes in like that, we could see that we're going to get a pullback in the markets because inflation is coming back. That means definitely no rate cuts, right? And then Thursday, we're going to get PPI, which is your producer price index inflation rate. And this is actually expected to be 0.2, up 0.6%. So producer prices going up also. Yeah, there's a couple of things next week, guys, that does give me pause for concern that we are going to see inflation return. And that would mean that we don't see these rate cuts. If we're looking right now at June, how this is looking for us. June 18th right now, that's going to be the next FOMC, almost an 80% chance of no rate cut. July, which was super low, is now a 35.2% chance of no rate cut. So the odds of seeing a rate cut are getting less and less and less as time moves on. So let's look at this heat map and talk about this real fast because this was the levels. We were talking about the level below us and the level above us for a heat map area. And as soon as this loads, we'll talk about, there we go. The heat map area below us still has about a couple of $1 billion easily down there. But this was the one that we were watching. That was about $2 billion above us. We have cut deeply into it. You can see that if I bring it in, we're cutting into it, but we're about out of it. And I do believe that that is going to be about $101,000. That's going to be the level to watch. Let's go jump over to my chart and let's talk about what this looks like as what I would need to see to go into a bullish stance. And it has to do with our fib levels here. I really need to see this get up here and get a good support bounce, not just a liquidity grab and come back out. If it does that, guys, this is not going to be a bullish move for me, in my opinion. But if we are able to get up there and we are able to get a bounce on that 103.5 range and then push up even higher, then I'm going to have to say that we're likely looking at this fib cycle here. And this fib cycle is a come back. Come back. Go ahead and drop those music notes. I know you are, Alexandra G, because I said it. This is what I would be watching here, would be these fib levels here. And that would be a return to the 1.618. If we are able to get the bounce here, I think that we return to the 1.618 this year. That would be about $160,000, $167,000 Bitcoin. Why do I think we would return to that level? Because historically, we've hit the 1.618 every single cycle, if not breaking it even further. The first two cycles, we went all the way up to the 2.36. But you can see we've always broken that 1.618. So that would be what would make me go to that stance. And all right, I flipped on bullish. Is that we get a break above the 618 here on my trend-based fibs. and we get that support, and then we're able to break out of this $117,800 range, maybe even get one more last support test there, and then shoot us up to that 1.618. If we cannot get above this pocket and hold it, just at least the 618, but I would really like to see it break the entire pocket, then I have to say that we are just setting up on a overextended suckers rally, a lot like we saw here, where it did the 50% pullback and then it did a suckers rally, liquidity grab, and then went into the bear market. If we do something like that and we reject here, that is the same as that, in my opinion. So that's what I'm going to be watching for there, for me to go, okay, bear, hibernate, bull, run. So until that happens, I'm just cautiously optimistic. Patience, DCA is the way, and we're doing the DCA every week in the Piper Academy Discord with the Piper plan. Take profit plan, entry plan all day long, every week. OC, what are you watching? Let's see. Let's pass it over to you and see what you got.
Absolutely. Let's get started with crypto bubbles. So this is what crypto bubbles look like today, right? Yesterday, we just had Filecoin in the red, remember that? And then also we have EOS in the green. So let's go back and watch it. By the way, this was a little bit of overview from yesterday's session from Trading with OC. Go watch it because it actually played out fantastically. That's why you don't see me using today's setup. But as you can see, I was expecting for the further move to the upside with a little bit of a retracement. That retracement happened within that same candle. We created a goose heading here and then further move to the upside. Now it comes the further move to the downside in here. And we need to be careful with this support and the next area of alert. Take a look at where we hit our 8.85. So 0.85. Oh, come on. Right here, right? 4-hour alert. So basically spot on the areas that we were looking at. And why we were looking at those areas? Easy peasy, using our support and resistances from chart prime and also our area from liquidity zones, again, from chart prime. So basically just going to that resistance, hitting off that resistance, going and find the next support. What is the next support? Somewhere around 81.99, the trend line. And then if we are able to get to 78, let's just call it 0.78. That will be maybe the next retest. So make sure that you find the breakout retest. At this point, we're going for that retest. Let's go and take a look at Filecoin. Where is it? There we go. I think it should be all the way. There we go, to the downside. There we go. This is our next entry. What happens here?
Fart coins are on the backside, not the downside.
Absolutely. They're on the way out, man. Perfect. So I know it's a little vicious right now. It's too many lines, but let me see if I can make it a little bit more clean and clear for you. If not, just go watch the replay that we did or from yesterday's class, right? Basically, we were expecting a possible entry right here at 1/2 of an entry because we weren't that sure. And then what happened? Well, this was our entry right here, half of that entry. And then what happens? Well, then we look for this area for a second half of the entry, basically giving us a average down position. And then once we get here, out with 50%, and then look at that beautiful trade being taken. Right now, if you haven't, remember, this is our next resistance. It's time to take another 50% of whatever is left in there. All right. So I do believe that we could be seeing a little bit of a fake out in here and then retracement like we did in here, like we did in here, and like we did in here. So we need to be a little bit careful because overall we have broken the trend line. All right. And then that retracement could be going to the next trend line. Oh, come on, don't move that. Right down here, right? And then find some support, not only because we have that trend line. Let me just clear this up, but also because where are you support and resistances? We used to had, well, where was it? An order block, if I don't recall incorrectly. But well, whatever. We have dynamic reactor coming in strong and the trend line. Those two are good enough for the retracement calculation. Other than that, guys, that's what I got on Filecoin. That's what I got on EOS. Hopefully, you guys did took those trades because you should be on very good profits at this point. Let's go and do a top down analysis right now. Let's take a look at, for example, Sui. Sui also going nuts in this rally. Absolutely. And we were talking about Sui the last class also. We were talking about, getting to that support and resistance channels that it was on it, right? Remember, this is our entry zone. We broke it, retest, off we go, support, break back in. And once we break back in, well, then we are right now hitting the top. Something interesting, almost into a flip of the ribbon. So we could be overshooting a little bit. Let's see how far could we maybe be overshooting. Let's bring up our indicators. Oh, look at that. We have a beautiful resistance up there. What else? Ooh, this one changes a little bit of things, right? Because if we do like that and then we overshoot like we did here, we could easily get up here. So it's not going to be about the breakout. It's going to be about the retest, and then off we go. But remember, this is going to be highly dependent on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin moves to the upside, we are going to be having this movement. If not, we are going to be having this other movement. In fact, let me just adjust it a slightly bit because I believe that that is going to be, oh, and it doesn't move. There we go, like that. Sui looking great. Bunk, I know it's a little bit of a, it's a meme coin, of course. I was explaining how to predict if we should be looking for the retest or not. Look at that. It was above, so basically retest. So it's not about the breakout, it's about your retest, and then off we go. It played out fantastically. Let me just leave it for today's class. Let's just get rid of this, and right now we're going to resistance. So make sure that you start looking to this area right here, and this could be your first area for a short, or better yet, this is your next area for your short. Remember, when we're not that sure, let's apply the same thing that we did on both EOS and Filecoin. So let's go for a short in here, have a position. Sorry about that. And then set our stop loss at previous highs, give us ourselves our wiggle room, and then add another half of a position on the resistance right here. So half and half. All right, that was going to be the plan. So if we are able to, we're going to be averaging up our short, and that's going to be it. Our stop loss remains at the same exact point. So that's going to be my plan for Bunk. Bunk's a meme coin. One of my trading meme coins at this point, because I think I can take a little bit of that volatility, low cap, and then make a profit on it. Remember, I'm not keeping my eyes out of Bitcoin, and of course, I'm not starving my Bitcoin out of USDC to place into Bunk, if that makes sense. So I'm not taking money out of Bitcoin to place in meme coins. This is profits from other trades, right? I still have that growth of account going on, so that's what I'm using. Another one that is interesting to me, because I hate it but I still love it, it is a TRX. I think it's a shitcoin, an S coin, right? But also I think it has a real world use, which is cheaper fees, right? And nobody's looking at it. So at this point, it's kind of like a changing sides for me. So on and so forth. Let me just clear this up. This is a little bit too old, and we're going to be using another tool, one of my favorite, regression trend indicator. I'm going to be just using this one in here, and we're going to be measuring this range. I'm going to be trying to trade the range. All right, so it's already be playing out, and as you can see right now, we are into an equilibrium movement, which means going all the way back, going all the way up, the same that happens here. And that means that usually we're going to have a full wave link cycle, right? So basically an oval cut in half and then twisted. So basically something like that, all right? Which means this. All right, so just so you know, I am expecting a rejection all the way back in here. Why? Because we have this area of support. We also have dynamic reactor and the bottom of the range with holding the zero line, and then maybe a breakout retest for the future. This is unknown yet. All right, so that's what I got so far on the altcoin zone. I'm a little bit mixed bag. some good ones. Oh, wait, LTC. I cannot miss out on LTC because again, oh my God, it did not hit my alert all the way up here for barely, man. Yeah, I need to start changing the threshold of my alerts because I've been missing out trades on Litecoin because I just put it. I don't know. It just slides out of me. But whatever. We're still on that movement to the upside, right? Let me just show it to you guys like this. All right. It is somewhat like a megaphone. All right. So like this, and also increment like that, still within the ranging scenario, right? And we're making a Chernobyl goose getty here with a bearish setup, so which means a little retracement for then a bigger movement, so something around these lines. I'm gonna be moving this one a little bit higher here. Hopefully this time it rings. And then also I'm going to be fixing this one slightly above this area of entry. So that's what I'm going to be looking at. Oh, look at that. We have another support. So you know what? Thinking it again. There we go. Taking advantage of my indicators for a better entry. All right, perfect. So as you can see, I have two lines in here. What I'm trying to do is overlapping my indicators to get me an area of entry with an early alert system, if that makes sense. So that's what I got so far on altcoins. A little mixed bag. I think we should be careful in looking ahead on what's going to be the next movement so you don't get trapped on this one. Other than that, turn it back to you, Piper.
Awesome. Let's jump in here and let's look at Bitcoin dominance real fast. Talk about that. And then I want to talk about a level that's sitting below us that's still sitting there waiting to be filled. Guys, looking at Bitcoin dominance, we have a pretty hefty downtrend right now on the 4 hour. This is what a lot of people are talking about. But if we go over and we put this on like the weekly, you'll see it's still an uptrend. It's just a pullback right now. It's that wick. That is what that all of those downward candles are. The level that I'm watching is going to be the 70%, hands down. And why is that? That 71% range is our candle closes that we had back here in December 2021 and in September 2019. I think that dominance continues to rally despite the small pullback that we've had on the 4 hours. I also want to talk about this level here on the CME futures for Bitcoin, because we closed that CME gap that was here. This got closed. We had another one here. Now it's a very small one. You can see it right there, basically. Not really concerned about that one. This one down here from April 22nd, though, guys, I do think that we're going to come back down to fill this thing eventually. And so that's going to be the pullback level that I watch for. I think if we get down and we close this out at about $91,000, $91,600, could be an interesting spot to enter into maybe a nice little long. If you guys are wondering about those trade setups and stuff, JR over in our Discord, absolutely crushing it all the time with his trade setups in there. We've also got some stuff that's been dropped in there from Mr. J, or actually Jay, I should say, talking about NVIDIA and stuff like that in here, doing some setup stuff on the TradFi side. But if we go over here into the actual trading group, you'll see JR in here printing money. He printed, according to TradeFly, about $300 this morning while I was drinking coffee. So if you guys want the DCA plan, how to DCA into, what the DCA amounts are, the risk levels for altcoins, Bitcoin, so on and so forth, and all of this trade stuff, guys, all you got to do, click the join button below. $5 a month, less than a cup of coffee, and you can get access to all that stuff. So we are the cheapest around, except for those that are free. But the reason we're not free, if you wondered why we're not free, because when you're free, you get bots and scammers. You can't even get in past the welcome desk without having the membership here on YouTube. So that's why we did that. It's safe and secure with a lot of data. So if you guys are interested in joining, $5. We appreciate it. It helps us out. It's how we pay, OC and Lunar Beaches and BC Port Corp and JR and Crypto Trades. That's back there running all of the admin side on it. So, but yeah, those are the levels that I'm watching on Bitcoin. That level down below us, that CME futures. And I do think that Bitcoin dominance is going to continue up. Alex O Crypto in the house.
Boom shakalaka.
What's up, my dude? How you doing, Alex O? Yeah. Yeah, awesome, man. OC, we are about to head over and raid a premiere video with Crypto Princess. She's did an interview with Believes Crypto, for the believers, and we're gonna go over and hit that up. But what do you see? Have you gone over gold today? Can we talk about gold? And just take a look at that before we go, because that's really that flight to safety that money has been moving out of TradFi too. And I'm pretty sure with the markets pumping the way they are right now, that we have probably seen some downside on gold. I think we saw that a little bit this morning on the TradFi side, but I think we're also at a level of support. So let's go talk about that. Stupid Bitcoin said, "Trust me, know about giving away free stuff. It's worthless to people." Yeah, it's true. It's true. If it doesn't, if it doesn't cost something, they don't appreciate it. Celebrate Alex O Crypto celebrating 15 months of membership. I love you, Alex, though. He's family. I can't wait to meet him. Can't wait to meet him. What's your time frame on getting down to that 91-ish? Days? Weeks? It really depends on where we reject at. Matter of fact, looking at my chart here, bro. Looking at my chart here, on let's go here, Bitcoin. And I got this fib that I pulled, okay? And then we'll have OC look at gold. I got this fib that I pulled from the high here, that we hit of the all-time high back in January, down to the bottom here, okay? And that pullback gives us a retracement of the golden pocket, which you can see we've already talked about how well that played out, okay? Let's get rid of all the brush marks. No more Mexican spaghetti on there. Thank you. I'm watching the platinum pocket, the 786. It's about $101,881. I think that's going to be a key level for us to get through. And if we reject off of that, then that would be where I see that we're going to head down to clean out that $91,000 range, sitting on that CME gap right there. So that's what I would watch for, is that rejection. It could be a little bit higher, over that little liquidity grab, but that's 786 is what I'm watching on that, for that rejection point. And again, that's at 101,881. So OC, let's kick it over to you. Let's take a look at gold, and then we'll head out. Let's go raid Crypto Princess. Her Royal Highness is having tea time with Believes, and we need to go crack open a Pabst Blue Ribbon beer and a Corona, American and Mexican style. What do you got for us, bro?
I love it, man. What a beautiful day. All right, so this is what we left out on gold, basically looking for a support, the money flow POC, and it seems like it has playing out. I mean, look at that. We have a big candle going downwards. Yeah, we pierced it, but at the same time, look at that, a good recuperation. We have today, because this is the 4-hour time frame, this candle going back down, right? So we did have that retracement from where we were, right? At this point, I need to start looking for that flip of the river. Remember that plan A was looking for that support and then bounce up. But still, remember, this is not set in stone. The next step right here, where we signaled it, it was looking at our oscillator, right? To see whether we're going to be continuing downwards or bouncing up. So far, we are still on the waiting zone, because the price action did bounce, right? But again, we are not yet into that flip of the ring. We start seeing it piercing through. I'm gonna be calling for a reversal and then hitting dynamic reactor, right? So let's just get rid of all of the possible predictions in here, because we're already playing out one. So the market has defined its movement. Let's go back and watch. Well, let me just turn this off. Perfect. And watch the possibility that we were talking about of creating a triangle. Remember, I told you a couple of classes ago, this could be your opportunity to jump back in and trade the inside of that triangle. It seems it's been playing out fantastically. All right. One more thing before I wrap it up with gold. Let's take a look at our previous entries. Let it load. All right, come on. Perfect. This was our previous entry here. Basically, it just got filled last week right there. Hopefully, you guys did enter on that one. And at this point, I'm going to be calling this one out. Why? Because, yes, I know this looks like maybe right here like a bull flag. So why in the world are we going out of here? Because at this point in 4 hours, look at that. We are just now slightly, depending on where we look at, this is Forex Forex, and this is Wanda. Depending on where we're looking at in Forex here, we are piercing through, right? So I'd rather go out of this trade, all right? Because if we have sweep of the lows, we know when to enter. And if we don't have sweep of the lows, don't worry. We have previous highs, and then we create a higher low, your re-entry, and then off we go. So it's everything under a plan, right? So basically, that's what we are on gold. Hopefully, we can get this re-entry sooner than later. And that's what I got on gold, Piper.
Awesome. Yeah. Shout out to the person here in the chat. Let me go find it. He said, I just clicked that button. Click the link. It says $20 to join. Do not click that one. I just removed that from my description. I apologize. That is the old one. All you got to do is hit the YouTube join right below it. That's it. It's $4.99. And that's how you get into the Discord now. Do not click the other one. You'll be good to go. Appreciate you. We also just got Dave Digital, member for 9 months, said alumni strong. We appreciate you, bro. OC, it's about time to head out of here. Can you tell these people what happens if they smash that like button? Besides it drastically helping. I know you guys hate people saying, please click the like button. You have no idea how important that is to get the algorithm moving in the YouTube space. But tell them what happens with Bitcoin if they smash the like button.
Absolutely. So, guys, thank you so much for joining today. A quick reminder to click that like button, because if you do, quick reminder, this is the only channel in the internet where clicking the like button gives you an extra power, a power up. This time, power ups is every time they look down into your cup, look at
Power
that,
ups.
a little bit more, coffee is left. Man, that is fantastic when you think your coffee is empty, and oh my God, fantastic last sip of coffee.
A reload of coffee, a reload of coffee, and $167,000 Bitcoin. That's what you get for it. Hopefully it holds up, guys. Just be careful. As DDT was saying, Stupid Bitcoin was saying earlier, the volume is a little low on this. We do have some cracks showing in the oscillators and stuff that is saying that we could have a little pullback. But as of right now, cautiously optimistic is how I am approaching price action on Bitcoin. If you've been following our DCA Piper's plan, you guys should all be in pretty good profit on that. And if you were doing the 10% pullbacks, sell off until you got no more pullbacks on the altcoins, then your things like SWE should be just absolutely ripping right now. We've been dropping those every week. Every Monday we drop those. So make sure if you guys are a member and you're not in our Discord, get over there and take a look, because you guys are missing out on some amazing DCA plans, giving you guys those calls every single Monday. We appreciate you all joining us here today. Don't forget to tune in tonight. OC, he's going to be doing a trade with OC, more education and alpha from the Academy with OC Guy tonight. Later on in the evening at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you get Markets After Dark with Lunar Beaches Crypto. And then tomorrow morning, we'll be back here with BC Port Corp. Good Morning Crypto. And then we'll be back at 10 a.m. tomorrow, guys. No big economic data, just Fed Reserve speaking tomorrow. A lot of Fed speakers, I think like 8 of them. But that is tomorrow. Be careful. Trump could send out one tweet or say, you know what, I went to the table and the UK deal is weak, so we're not doing it. Or he could come back and say, hey, look, the EU has filed a complaint with the World Trade WTO on us. And so guess what? We're going to up our reciprocal tariffs. There's no telling what can happen, guys. It's a very volatile time. But guys, trade safe. Use some risk management if you guys are trading. And we'll catch you guys right back here tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bring you guys the news, the charts, the markets, and everything you need to have knowledge, because knowledge is profit. When you get over to Crypto Princess, drop the grad caps. Let them know the Academy is in the house. Catch y'all later. Peace.
I don't know what they keep telling me. I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after wheels fall low. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. Trade flag at the soul, train ready. What a line from OCI, former Mexican spaghetti. Yo, crunch crypto with a deep dive to reject dime. And if you like the visual powered by Tar Prime, then you were part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have step, fall back to offline.
Boom shakalaka!
We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after
I gotta
wheels
pump
fall
those numbers up. Those are
down.
rookie numbers in this racket.
To get rhythm, the ZTS rhythm. Rip it, Alexandra.
Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean? You can't handle the truth!
That was awesome, dude!